Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. Alright, yesterday I had posted the video about how I run into a big snag and I wasn't sure how to deal with it. I really didn't want to cut the supports in the wall that I'd run into to where the toilet was going to need to go. And I want to first off, thank everybody for all the great comments. I got tons of great comments, lots of different ideas. A couple of people said, you know, frame it like you would a doorway or something, a main structure in a house. That's good ideas. Other people said you could cut the support and fabricate another piece of metal going across and kind of re-weld it, re-spot weld it on there. There were lots of great suggestions. Ultimately, because I got real frustrated last night trying to think the whole thing through, but what ultimately happened is, you know, I was thinking, well, I'm going to maybe have to replan the whole damn thing. And I did sketch after sketch after sketch. I pretty much used all the rest of the paper in my little notebook. But then I was just talking to my wife about it today. And a lot of times if I just talk things through with her, I can come up with a solution. Well, you know, I kept saying, I kind of showed her, I brought her back out to the truck, showed her where it needs to go, and this is why it needs to go through the outside wall. I've got this access door I need to put in, blah, blah, blah. And then we went back inside and talked some more, and she said, well, why does it have to go to an outside wall? And I said, well, that's the way it's made. It's made to go against an outside wall, so you put the access door on, and you can then pull the cassette out. And she said, well, yeah, but you have the other access door already for that, you know, luggage space, tool space, whatever you want to call it, on the driver's side further behind that. Couldn't you reach through that and through that little wall in there where you've already got the holes that were cut for the ductwork? Is there a way to remove that wall so you could just, you know, push it, have it go that way, and you just reach in and pull it out? And I'm looking at her going, freaking brilliant, freaking brilliant. So I walked back out to the truck and looked at it some more, and I was already going to maybe cut that little support that holds the front end of the bunk, which is going away, down there out and rebuild whatever I need to rebuild underneath for support, so that I could push the toilet a little bit further away from the driver's seat, and, you know, then I'd build a wall right there for the cabinet that's going to hold the sink. So I was already going to do that anyway, and yeah, it just made perfect sense. Well, then if I just turn it so it's mounted against the wall for the sink the opposite way, or the 90 degrees, then I can just reach in my current open door there and pull the cassette out. Now I was going to put both water tanks down there, so I still may not have room for both. I may only have room for one. But Philip, Michaela, I gotta say, when I was going through all the comments, you and my wife think exactly the same. You guys would get along great, because he suggested the same thing that she had just suggested. Why not turn that, use my current space in that wall where it's already been cut out for the ducting, and pull it through there and just come out my access door. And he said then what I was thinking, well, maybe you can't get both tanks in there, but you could at least get one of them in there, which I would want the gray tank, so it would be below the sink, so when the sink drains into the gray tank, it would be right there. Because also that gives that tank a vent, which you have to have. Just like you have to have your fuel tanks vented. If you've been following my videos for a long time, I had a whole video about redoing my fuel tank vents when I was trying to figure out my chugging issue. But then, yeah, the freshwater one can easily be all the way across underneath where my current bunk is now, into the access door on the other side, and just run a water line across the floor. I could even run some of that, wrap some of that heat tape around it so that that doesn't freeze up. So, Philip, you got the same idea as my wife. You expanded on it a little bit, and you already kind of climbed into my head, and were thinking the same thing I am. So I think that's going to be the solution. Let me kind of show you how I think it's going to work out. So, this is essentially going to be the solution, just a little bit modified. Because my wife was saying, well, why does it have to be attached to an outside wall? And I kept saying, well, because that's where the cassette thing needs to come through for the access door. But of course, I have under the bunk right here, on the driver's side, that access door already there. There were already holes in this wall down here, you can see, from where the ducts came through. That wall is just a little bit of pressed board, carpet, and some plastic. I can take that wall out. so that I can take this back part of the toilet, slide it a little bit this way, and back in that way, because there's just this bar here, very dusty right now, that holds up the bunk support. Well, I'm going to be rebuilding that whole area down below. I can take that bar out. So this toilet can slide this direction a few more inches. You can see it already fits behind my driver's seat. And then that way the bowl portion can be a little closer to the wall. And that is going to be my solution. Okay, so remember that area behind my seat is right there on the truck. And I have this access door. And I was looking at that last night and today thinking, okay, well, I could put the access door into that door. But then my wife brought up the fact that, you know, I already have this access door. I was going to put my 2 water tanks in there, okay? And I still may be able to get both of them in there. We'll see. Right now all this ductwork is in the way, and I got to get this bracket out for the that used to hold the fire extinguisher. And then I can do some testing. That's what I'm working on tonight. So I turn on the flashlight and look inside here. I showed you this in the last video. The wall has already been compromised. They've already cut through this for the ducting that used to go up. And like I say, this is just, you can see right here, just a little plastic thing. And behind that, look, that's just pressed board. And that's what the carpet is pressed to on the other side. That can easily come down. This bar up here is essentially holding the tray that holds my current mattress up in place, is just mounted to this lip underneath, right up there. And I can cut that, because I'm going to do a new reinforcement for this area anyway. All that does is go from this side, inside the truck, all the way to the other side, just to be that front support for this tray up here that my bunk sits on. I can redo that. So that means that toilet, like I showed you from the inside shot, can now push through this wall just a few more inches this direction. Then, when you're looking at this access door I have, the rear of it will be right about there. I can reach in, pull the cassette part out, and just simply bring it out this access door that's already here. This is where I'm going to do a little kind of retro testing tonight. Those 2 tanks might still be able to go in here. I think at least the gray could still go in here, because the sink's going to be up above there. So I still want it to be able to drain directly into the gray tank. The fresh tank could go into the same box that's on the opposite side, and I could just run a water line all the way across. These are plastic walls here underneath, and they can be easily removed or moved. So I think this is going to be the whole solution. So now when we're looking at it, where the back of the toilet was going to go against the wall, it's just going to simply go back against there. I'm building an upper wall for the right side of my sink anyway. And like I say, it's just we'll just push that in a few inches so that then, and thankfully this bowl rotates, so you can see with the lid up. So now it'll be in the right position. It'll just be a little further over to give my big butt enough room to squeeze in there, baby. Yeah. Okay, now back inside the truck, looking at where the toilet is basically going to be just a little further, because we're going to go through that little wall right down there. I've got the bunk lifted up, as you can see right now. Right there in the middle, that's the APU unit, the inside unit I've been talking about. That has a compressor in it, runs my heat and air conditioner. There's a condenser on the back wall of the truck. There's a little motor that hangs off the frame to provide power for that. There's a little vent down there. This can't move, or easily, so I'm working my project around it. But here's that side box I was talking about, and if I put my camera down here, look, that door's open. Here's the back of the toilet. So I can just reach through there. I can still put my fresh, or my gray water tank right there. And like I say, I might even be able to get both, because this plastic wall that's right here, this can move. Look, you can just pick it up. It moves that easily. I can just take the damn thing out. So that might be an option, so I can push both tanks over there. This just has extra space on that side of the APU for that duct line to come around, snake through, and go through the wall. Well, I take that wall completely out. It doesn't have to snake through, right? The other one is going to go around the backside and up anyway. Plus, I'm going to be able to build extra storage down below behind this APU unit under the bunk back there. There's a first aid kit you can see back there that you have no access to now anyway. I will with the way I'm going to redo the floor underneath. And if I have to put the freshwater tank on this side, look, that's the under bunk storage with an access door down there on the passenger side. So I could still put the fresh tank there. So I think this is my entire solution. Toilet gets to stay where I want it. Yeah, baby. So, good news is, thanks to all of your comments, to my wife's help, Philip, Michaela, thinking along the lines of my wife and a little bit of me, I think I've come up with a solution. So, there's the good news. So what that means is everything else I was planning to do can stay the same. My landing will still be on the same side, on the passenger side. My steps will still be over there. I can do the whole build exactly like I was planning. I'm very excited. So, and now I don't even have to cut in another door, an access door for the cassette toilet into the truck. I'm just going to use the one that's already there. Yeah. All right, that's it for tonight on this one. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe. Please comment and like if you would like to. I get to your comments, as I'm doing this project. I get to them a little bit faster than I do when I'm on the road because I have a little more time to play with, I'm not working my arse off, baby, thank ye. Anyway, so the project will now continue. I thought I was in a snag. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? But now we can forge ahead. So in the next few days, look for me taking the bunk that's now kind of up a little bit out tomorrow. I'm going to get the mattress off of there. I'm going to do the last little bit of demolition I've got to do, and we're going to start cutting through that back wall, and then we get to start the whole build process. So I hope you've been enjoying this as I've been documenting the whole thing. I told you I'd document everything, and I've been doing that. So, we're gonna start shifting into phase 2 and get into the build. So it'll be good. So as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty sleeping inside. Out. It's a jump to conclusions mat. It'll have different conclusions on it that you can jump to. That's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. And there's Rusty Dog, here in his second natural habitat at the house, running around doing his Rusty Dog thing. Well, get out there, run around.